Alright YouTube, welcome to part 7 of my huge RC trophy truck build. Front wishbones, you probably saw the video where I'd cut down some ball joints off a Triumph Spitfire. That's where I grafted them into the end of the front wishbones. This one's obviously still wants quite a bit of a tickle to get these welds down. Here's one that I've filed off already. You can see the effect. I want it so that I can't really tell that something's been grafted in there. Been shaping up the sides as well where the welding was originally from the bends. This one probably needs another, I don't know, needs another hour or so on it. It took 5 hours to get it to this state, but that's all hand filed, you know what I mean. I got some bits back from the machinist, Steve at Moorside in Manchester. If you can draw it, he'll build it for you, you know what I mean. He'll cut all sorts, CNC, and he went to town on these ball joints for me. Took him down to M10 to take the bearings off the front hubs that I've got and tap the ends out for my upper ball joints. You can see there, that'll sit in like that, which obviously is my control rods to the top of the suspension. I've put down the front hubs to fit these as well. I've got 42mm on the shaft and I've got 40mm hubs now, so I can shim it up. And that obviously the bearings need replacing, they're a bit notchy, but you get the idea. That'll sit up there with that ball joint on the top. Obviously the larger ball joint taking the weight of the front hubs, and obviously under compressing the front, the top end will take it as well. But once I've got these wishbones finished off and obviously powder coated or something, you can see they have a plastic cut that the ball sits in the back, and then obviously you have to press the cap in to hold it all together. I'm going to cut down the plastic cut, because what I did notice when I first got them with it, obviously they're used to carrying 1,000 kilos of cars, so they were stiff, they were really tight. So I'm going to shake down the plastic a bit to give me a bit more slack in the front, and obviously make it a bit more responsive, given the weight that's going to be running through the car. It's going to be nowhere near obviously the size of a full-size car. I was going to do a wiper motor front servo for the steering, but after thinking about it, even with a little bit of trim on, the motor would be taking a drain from the battery constantly. I didn't really want to be in that situation, so traditionally I've gone back to a servo and managed to get a Tonegawa off a popular website, auction site. It was basically a tenth of the original price. It's been modified at some point, obviously re-engineered a bit, but it's a PSO 50. They're rated at 92 kilos at 12 volt. They have their own 12 volt supply, and then obviously the 7.2 volt that runs the receiver pack that then gives it its signal. I'll see how I go with this. Worst case is I need to add another one. Hopefully I can find one as reasonably as this. If this is inadequate, I'll see what happens. Just got some tie rods off a mini quad that I've been using to size up. I'd like to put a steering servo saver in the front, obviously to protect this from knocks, but I'll see what happens. As soon as I got it, I knew I needed a mount, so I had a piece of 10mm alley plate kicking about. So took a drill to it and a file and started the shape of obviously a servo mount. It fits quite snug now, it's not even bolted down, but you know what I mean, it's a good fit, and I think the plate will be hard enough to take it, should be right. I've also been working on the rear swing arms. Basically making a template out of some cardboard. This is actually the base of it, but you can see off this that that's the main body of the swing arm, ready for folding. It's kind of been a bit of a trial and error situation. Basically, the inner spine to the swing arm is a piece of this. It's shelving runner, mild steel, but strong, quite rigid, and still quite light. I've grafted in it's a 1.1 inch weldable bung that takes a 1/2 inch roll joints that I've got for obviously the main pitch and swing on the rear mounts. I've then welded that inside. You can see here, this is with the bottom in. Obviously it still needs welding together. Left the end open there, which will give me the space to drill right through the spine and mount the rear spherical ball joint holders, which is obviously the exhaust U-clamps that I've got. But that being open underneath will also give me access to obviously removing these and to tightening them up, doing whatever I need to fit the back axle to the carriers. When these get back from finishing welding and I've cleaned up all the welds, I'll get them back on and you can see a bit of a comparison, a bit of a before and after. Right, stay tuned, part 8 comes soon. Alright, peace.